This is the Wonder English YouTube channel, where wanderers come to prepare for their communication adventures. Come on, let's talk. Confidence in communication is one of the biggest keys to effective connections in any language. And while many ESL students lose confidence upon having to tackle pronouncing new terms in English, even Americans have a hard time pronouncing some of the most common English words. Here is a top 7 list of words that even Americans have a tough time pronouncing correctly.
If you love almonds.
Almonds?
Yeah, really love almonds.
I do.
I do.
I do.
You'll love the Mars Almond Bar. So many almonds, you get an almond in every bite.
Almond. Native to Mediterranean climate regions of the Middle East, including countries like Syria and Turkey, this seed of a tree by the same name has become an American staple of a hardcore health food. This seed has taken America by storm and has now become one of California's biggest agricultural exports, making up over 70% of the state's exports in 2012. From its signature shape to its varying uses in modern-day cuisine, you'd imagine fewer people would mispronounce its name, but they do. Many Americans tend to call this seed almond, when in fact the correct pronunciation is almond.
Be mischievous!
Mischievous. Let's face it, scrolling tirelessly through YouTube channels and watching endless videos of animals and humans getting into trouble has become a bit of an American pastime. There's just something about watching ridiculously silly behavior online that makes us want to forget about every deadline or responsibility we might have, if only for a few hours. And while a mischievous monkey stealing someone else's cell phone might make you LOL for real, it might not be quite as funny if it were to happen to you. It's still a bit of a mystery as to why this rich and useful word is so often mispronounced, but it is. While the majority of Americans tend to pronounce this word as mischievous, you'd be in the minority if you were to pronounce it properly as mischievous. Salmon. Salmon is a species of fish that is native to tributaries of the North Atlantic and Pacific Oceans. And while they may be known for their signature migration style in the wild, this oily fish is considered a very healthy addition to our diets due to its containing high levels of omega-3 fatty acids. Having become an ever so popular fish due to the rising popularity of sushi over the decades, one might imagine people would have learned how to properly pronounce its name by now. But even some Americans still have a hard time getting this one right. While many Americans make the mistake of calling this fish salmon, the correct pronunciation is salmon. Espresso. I'm sure many of you might be thinking, oh no, how could Americans possibly mispronounce something so essential to life? Which of course would be a reasonable question to ask if you're from Europe. Espresso is an Italian word for a form of coffee that is brewed to be generally thicker than regular coffee and stronger. While it is understandable that some Americans have a hard time pronouncing words from other languages, considering tens of thousands of Starbucks and other coffee shops across North America serve this drink millions of times a day makes this error a bit less excusable. Many Americans make the mistake of adding an extra letter to this word, which often leads them to say espresso instead of its proper pronunciation, espresso. Prescription. Going to a pharmacist is an activity that just about everyone will have to deal with at some point in their lives. And with there being over 67,000 pharmacies in the United States alone, filling out a prescription is just about one of the most convenient things an American can do. That being said, many Americans still have issues pronouncing this seemingly straightforward word. This error may have a lot to do with carelessness, but this mispronunciation is more common than one would imagine. While the common mispronunciation of this word is prescription, the correct pronunciation is prescription.
What's this stuff that looks like sand?
It's quinoa.
Nope, I don't eat foods that sound like karate words.
Quinoa. This little grain can be added to that list of foods that every health nut has in their cupboard, and with good reason. Dietitians and vegans alike have lauded quinoa the crown of whole food goodness. And while many don't buy into the hype, others have almost made it a staple of American cuisine. One problem that just about every person encounters when trying out this new grain on the block is how to pronounce its name. A common mispronunciation is quinoa, when the proper pronunciation would be quinoa. Quinoa might just be the next best thing since sliced bread. Or maybe not.
I can't help it! My body's rejecting it!
February.
February. The second month of the Gregorian calendar year is known for romance as well as being awkwardly short compared to other months. The shortest month of the year is not only misunderstood, its name is often mispronounced. The name February was derived from a Latin term which means purification and was celebrated as a holy month long before Cupid showed up with chocolates. Considering the adoption of this month into our modern-day Gregorian calendar, one might imagine native speakers would be able to properly pronounce such a word as basic as a calendar month, but think again. Many Americans think that this month is pronounced February, when in reality, the pronunciation is February. Hi Wanderers, thanks for watching. To get more regular videos as well as other wonderful content, be sure to like, subscribe, and follow us on social media.